Cahirley. And Minister, I'm returning to a matter that was raised under a priority question earlier on, and I'm asking specifically in relation to the 18-metre boats over 18 metres and the position now. I have tried twice with your office to get clarification. I was forced into doing this question. A topical was ruled out of order, which I understand, the question being sub judice. But there are serious implications here, and I wish to return to this now with you to tease out what analysis the department has done since the ban was lifted in terms of what tonnage of sprat is being caught. Thank you.
Well, I don't have the figures in relation to the tonnage of sprat, Deputy, but I can see if I can get those. Obviously, it's a non-quota species, sprat. But the Marine Institute would probably have figures and do a general assessment. So I will see if I can get that. Obviously, as I said to Deputy Cairns earlier, I'm waiting now on the final judgment from the Court of Appeal, and then I'll decide on how I proceed after that. And obviously, I've outlined very clearly my own commitment to the 6 mile, the 6 nautical mile, and that the prioritisation for smaller vessels. But listen, it's something I'm going to have to reflect on when I get the judgment as to how I would proceed.
Thank you, Minister. I hope I can benefit from the time you've given up. You see, I appreciate your bona fides and you're behind this, but this policy was brought in 18, as you well know, announced in 18, and was to come into effect in 19 or 20 with a 3-year stay in relation to the bigger trawlers to allow them in. And you know more about this than I do. My difficulty is that the Supreme Court judgment was given in July. It might have been perfected in October, but you know since July 20. I've no idea how a stay could be applied for, refused, wasn't applied for in time, then was applied months later, then it was refused, then it was appealed, then it was given for a period of time and then removed. So I've no idea, given the seriousness of this matter. This policy was a game changer. It was backed by just about all of the approximately 800 submissions that went in and by all of the relevant and important organisations on the ground. The sprat mightn't be a quota or bound by quota, but it's the most important source of food, as you well know, for fish, for mammals, for food, and so many other reasons in relation to the ecosystem. Sorry, Chair, I'm over my time. Am I just? Yeah. So, Minister, I know you appreciate the importance of it, but on the ground we now have a situation where the big trawlers are going back in to remove sprat unsustainably.
Minister, you didn't use all your time the last time, so if you want to.
Yeah, thanks, Cahirley. So, obviously, when I appealed it to the Court of Appeal, I also applied for a stay on the previous decision, removing the ban on the 6 nautical mile zones. The Court of Appeal give the stay at that stage. What happened, whatever it was, maybe 6 weeks ago or so now, was that the Court of Appeal removed that stay, but I'm still waiting on their actual final judgment. So listen, I mean, I think my commitment to this is clear, Deputy Connolly, but it's been very much informed over the last period of time by the engagement with the court and the court decisions. And as things stand, I have to wait to see what the finer detail is in relation to that, the outcome of that appeal, and then reflect and decide how I proceed.
So the answer to my question, to the simple answer is the boats are free to go in there, fish unsustainably, take out as much sprat as they possibly can, as quickly as they can. That's the position we're in, despite a policy decision way back to say this was unsustainable. Despite the rising numbers of sprat being caught in an unsustainable manner, here we are in 2021. Why wasn't it fast-tracked? Why wasn't it explained to the court, and I'm not going into anything of sub judice in relation to the substantial issue, but why wasn't it explained to the court that this situation was extremely urgent? We fast-track commercial issues, and this is absolutely essential in relation to the climate change emergency, the biodiversity emergency, and in relation to local fishermen. And yet we have complete lack of clarity in relation to how the stay was lifted. I wrote to your office twice. I don't want to personalise it, but the confusion was allowed to go on, and we have to raise it in this manner. When is the judgment going to be the judgment given, please? What indication have you got from the court? Thanks.
Minister, to conclude.
Yeah, well, As you'll appreciate, Deputy Connolly, these are matters for the court and are not matters that my office can decide. It's only the court that can give indications in that regard. Certainly I can't give an indication in that regard as one of the party or as a party to the appeal or as the appellant. Obviously, I did apply to the court for a stay, which the Court of Appeal it granted. Which meant that those large vessels were blocked from coming into the 6 nautical mile zone while the court was adjudicating on its decision. But I applied for further appeal or stay a number of weeks ago, and the court didn't grant that. So that's the legal situation now. I'm awaiting the final outcome of the appeal decision. But obviously, as you can see from the whole court process that was undertaken, to actually ban over 18-metre vessels from that 6 nautical mile zone, there is a whole complicated consultation process that has to be underway. That's what was undertaken under the leadership of previous Minister Michael Creed, who was very committed to this issue, but then which was contested and challenged in the courts. And that's where we are at today.
Deputy